need you to trust me. One last time.
Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, directed by Christopher McQuarrie and starring Tom Cruise. Ethan Hunt and the IMF team race against time to find the entity, artificial intelligence that can destroy mankind.
Our lives are the sum of our choices. This is your calling, your destiny.
Hey there, whoa there, it's Rogue here. Tom Cruise, also known as the Last Movie Star, is back with another entry to his hit franchise, Mission Impossible. This is also being marketed as the last Mission Impossible movie. The plot of this film goes all the way back to the beginning, tying everything together. Is this a good conclusion to the Mission Impossible franchise? Let's start with the positives.
Your team has been betrayed, Ethan. All your secrets compromised.
What I liked most about this movie is how stylish it is. Everything from the characters' clothing choices to the weapons, the vehicles, and of course, going around the world. I thought this film was very stylish, very beautiful. And because this is a Mission Impossible movie, of course, the action was really good. This is a masterclass in tension building. This is a film led by Tom Cruise, so of course the stunt work and the fight choreography are very intense. These are very elaborate sequences that I'm sure took months and months of planning, as well as lots of practice and insurance. I will say though, I wanted more hand-to-hand combat. There is a lot of action, but only a few scenes that have fight choreography. While I really enjoyed the elaborate fight choreography, I just wanted more of it. So it was good, but there just wasn't enough. I wanted more fighting. There are two really big action set pieces in this film. The underwater sequence involving submarines, and then we have the air sequence involving Tom Cruise going from one plane to another plane. It was a lot of fun, and I don't think that the marketing spoiled those two scenes. However, I do wish we would have seen less in the marketing.
Our lives are the sum of our choices. This is your calling, your destiny.
I thought that the underwater sequence was absolutely incredible. Everything involving the submarines was my favorite part about this movie. I thought it was so interesting, and I personally have not seen anything like that on film, so I'm glad Tom Cruise did that.
I have no regrets. Neither should you.
The plane sequence is absolutely crazy. Tom Cruise is literally defying gravity. I definitely recommend watching this film on the largest screen possible because these two action scenes, the submarine scene and the plane scene, need to be experienced on the largest screen possible. The music is really good. Of course, the Mission Impossible theme song is iconic. Even if a person hasn't watched a Mission Impossible movie, most likely they would recognize the theme song. The iconic theme will change just a little bit in certain spots, but it's still that same classic theme song. There's also other songs that play throughout the film that I thought were good, inspired choices. And for my final positive, let's talk about Tom Cruise. A lot of people are saying he is the last movie star. And while that's not true for me, I definitely can see how that would be true for the general movie-going audience. A lot of people are going to go watch this film just because it's Tom Cruise. And they're not going to be disappointed. If you are a Tom Cruise fan, there is a lot here to enjoy. Tom Cruise is a terrific actor, and the stunt work he does in this film is unreal. All right, let's talk about the aspects of the film that I feel mixed about. Continuing to talk about Tom Cruise, but now in the mixed category, there is a filter on his face throughout this entire movie, and it is so distracting. This filter makes him look about 10 years younger, and it also gives him a tan. Now, I'm not judging him for using a filter, but the reason why it's so noticeable and why I've even decided to mention this in my review is because no one else gets the filter. Tom Cruise is the only one with this filter, and there are multiple scenes where the camera's point of view is going back and forth between a filtered Tom Cruise and another character that is unfiltered, and it is so jarring. It's almost like an uncanny valley experience. It is very noticeable throughout the film, but especially when Tom Cruise and Simon Pegg are sharing a scene. Tom Cruise could have at least put a filter on the actors who are a similar age as him. Come on. There's also way too many scenes where Tom Cruise is shirtless. I'm not sure why, but Tom Cruise is trying his hardest to be sexy in this movie. And don't get me wrong, Tom Cruise is handsome, especially for his age, and he does have a nice muscular body, especially for his age. But it just wasn't working for me. It just wasn't doing it for me. Tom Cruise is more than twice my age. It just wasn't doing it for me. It's almost like every other scene, his shirt came off or his shirt was unbuttoned. There's a scene where Tom Cruise strips down to his underwear, and no spoilers, but the context of this scene, if he was wearing his underwear, he would die pretty much instantly. I mean, it was just unnecessary how much his shirt was coming off during this film.
Smart people on every side are close to panicking.
Another aspect about this film that I feel mixed about is going to be the supporting characters. Ethan Hunt's team. Now, most of these are returning characters, but I just wasn't really feeling it here in this entry. Grace by Hayley Atwell gives a decent performance, but they try to push her character to be the love of Ethan's life, and it just wasn't believable for me because in this franchise, this is like the third love of his life. Simon Pegg as Benji and Ving Rhames as Luther are a lot of fun and good as always, but I felt like we didn't get enough time with them, especially Luther.
This was your calling, your destiny. I have no regrets.
The plot of this film is messy. Don't get me wrong, I was entertained, but it was just really messy, and just when I thought the stakes were already high, they moved the stakes even higher. This mission just got a whole lot more impossible. It was just really messy. They needed like 1 or 2 more drafts of the script because it was hard to follow along, which leads me to the negatives. So let's go ahead and jump into the negatives.
This explains the handcuffs. It's still not clear why he's here.
It is very hard to follow along with this movie. I'm actually glad there is a lot of flashback scenes and exposition from the characters because I needed it. This was hard to follow. It was really messy and I just wasn't interested. There were certain characters that they bring back from previous films that just did not interest me. The stakes kept getting higher and higher, but I just wasn't not invested. The entity is basically Skynet, but not as cool or threatening. But with that said, when I turned my brain off, I was highly entertained. I'll be honest, I was struggling to stay awake towards the end of the film. This is a 3-hour long movie and you feel it. I thought to myself, I just want this movie to be over. And a few minutes later is when the plane sequence began to happen. I was like, oh no, wait, I almost forgot. When I watched this movie, it was a nearly packed theater, and there were a few people that walked out, and there were a few people that fell asleep. And I was fighting to stay awake as well. This movie was entertaining, but it does drag. There are pacing issues all throughout. It walks the line of being boring. There are a few moments that are very close to being boring. And in my opinion, boring is the ultimate cinematic sin. Overall, I think that Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is a heavily flawed but decent enough ending to this franchise. The action is still as good as ever, but have your expectations low and try your best to stay awake. I am going to give Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning a Rogue Reviews 4 out of 10.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
Join my Rogues Gallery by clicking the subscribe button. Give this video a like and leave a comment down below to show your support, and follow me on Instagram at Alexis Has Gone Rogue.